In.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back to Season 5 of the Collegiate Conference Series. We got one last matchup for you tonight. The WSU Esports Squad taking on the Air Force Falcons. And in the booth, I got Fox. You know a little bit about this Air Force Squad after last night.
Absolutely. And Sleeper, it is a pleasure to be joined by you once again. And we had some crazy series last night. Air Force played very well and did not quite get the dub, but they were
hours or okay, now it's good. The microphone was not working. We appreciate the information on that, and we got it fixed.
And it looks like all of these players are ready to get down onto the field now. Air Force taking on WSU. These two teams are quite familiar with each other as well. 2-1 currently in a head-to-head. Wimpulse starting off the scoring right and way. And Fox, this is what WSU has done to Air Force in the past.
Yeah, and he's got the Lightning McQueen Ka-chow because he is speed. He started this game off quick. It only took 6 seconds, able to jump on a ball. Air Force, if you see that, I mean, you put that ball in what you hoped would be a safe spot. It wasn't, and Wimpulse made you pay instantly. If I'm Air Force, I'm taking notes, and I'm making sure to be a lot more careful with my ball control moving forward because the Cougars, they were ready to pounce.
Definitely, but like we were talking about, Air Force, they faced SDSU last night, took them to Game 5 after the sub in from Chowder, but unfortunately weren't able to take it the distance and get the victory against SDSU, but they're looking for a comeback here against WSU to move ahead to 1-1 in conference play, but I mean, already down 1-0, they still got quite a bit of the series left, but they need to get stuff going for them on the defense. That's a good put away from them there.
Oh, wide open goal. Chowder's going to strike right back. And Washington State's lead is no more. As Wimpulse, he did his best. He was trying to play that, maybe looking for a double. The ball did escape him, and Orion and Chowder both were on that side. So not only did he have to worry about the ball, had to worry about the demo too. Outnumbering your opponent like that, Air Force did it to perfection. It took about a minute, but we're right back where we started, Sleeper. Everything's even.
The only difference is there's 1 minute off the clock now in game number 1 here. Both these teams a little bit back and forth so far. A little bit of jumble up on the defense from Air Force, and Fitz will make them pay, putting in a second now for WSU.
Venom probably says, all right, that was mine, but to be fair, you got the bump. You're the one that created that chance. You got the goalie out. So Fitz does get the goal. Venom took the shot. Venom does get credit for the apple and the assist. So he will be factored in on the score sheet. But a good team play. Again, another outnumbered opportunity. You've had numbers forward. You're able to send someone for the goalie, and you can create opportunities like that. But at the same time, you got to be careful because outnumbering someone on one side, you could easily get outnumbered on the other.
Exactly. Counter-attacking is very important in this game. WSU almost getting a third one here. Not able to put it on target, though, but able to keep in control and keep it on that offensive half, not allowing Air Force to break out of their own half to even attempt a counterattack here as Fitz trying to take control once again, but it'll be left for Orion. Center ball from Venom will go to nobody. It'll go wayward of the net. Evan now able to take some control, trying to get the Falcons back on offense. That little redirect is going to be off target, but the Falcons, they're looking to get that offense going.
Yep, and after missing game 1 last game, Chowder making himself heard in this game. He missed game 1 because he was dealing with surgery, so our man is fighting through it right now, but he and his team are right in the thick of things here. Evan trying to find an opening on that backboard. Wimpulse says not so fast, but here's Chowder. One-on-one with Fitz. He will lose that battle to the vehicle in red, and Wimpulse able to clear, but Air Force, they are beginning to find a little bit of offensive zone time and some confidence here. We'll have to see how that progresses moving forward now that we're just past the halfway mark.
Still 1-goal lead here for WSU. Wimpulse getting control there. Little south pass off the side wall. Fitz going to be taking the shot. No follow-up. Finally coming through from Wimpulse. And that will now be a third on the side of WSU.
And I've gotten word that the surgery he had was shoulder surgery. So if he's a controller player, I'm sure he has that controller in a very delicate position. But he and his team find themselves down by 2. So Chowder, Orion, and Evan will be looking to try and find some offense of their own. But they got to be careful. The offense for Washington State continues to hound away. Wimpulse has a hat trick, and it didn't even take him 3 minutes.
Yeah, just not in good positioning with the boost that they had. Orion just trying to get in the way, but got the ball put right behind him instead. So now a 3-goal lead here for WSU in game 1, but I wouldn't count out the Air Force Falcons in this series quite yet. Fox, as we've seen, they are very notorious for taking it to game 5, game 7s, that last final game, especially against this WSU team.
That shot going to go by the wayside, will allow Washington State a brief clearance, but Evan will send it right back in, forcing Fitz into action. Good little collection there, but he and his teammate had a little bit of a mix-up in the corner. Luckily for them, Venom arrives out of nowhere. The third man back post able to get there after Fitz and Wimpulse collided there in the corner. No worse for wear. Now here's Fitz. He's going to go up with it. Lots of boost to work with. Gets back to the ball. Cannot dunk the defense that stood tall, Air Force. Now they're really starting to struggle here. They're not really spending too much time in the Washington State zone. A lot of this is being played in the Air Force end.
Ryan tried getting a clean control off of that wall, but got bumped off of it instead. Now Evan just has to try and play this one slowly back to his own half before WSU can get involved in the play. Evan, no boost as well, so the tank reserve's running a little low for the Air Force Falcons right now. Venom trying to center that ball, almost getting a shot in as well, but it goes just off target. Now Fitz, again, collecting in the corner for WSU, but Evan trying to clear it out. Orion to help in support. Venom, once again, just causing major mayhem on that midfield line. Fitz looking for the double, gets the flip reset as well, but isn't able to put it on. The follow-up shot as well off the crossbar. So some very close opportunities for a fifth for WSU, but they haven't put it one through yet.
Clocking in right now, Washington State University, 11 shots compared to 4 for Air Force. So the offense out shooting their opponent by about 2.5 shots to 1, which is quite the margin here. Air Force, they hung on and they were able to prevent a lot of the shots from going through. The only problem is they didn't create anywhere near enough offense to combat the 4 goals that did sneak in. Washington State have started this series off fast. They started it off with a beautiful offensive effort, and they are going to send Air Force packing into game 2 down by 1.
Yeah, 4-1 going to be the final score line there. That defense from Air Force, like you mentioned, Fox, it was able to hold on, but just with the amount of shots that Washington State was peppering through, eventually something was going to give. And unfortunately, 4 goals were the better for Washington State. So they just got to be able to clear up that defensive end and really clear the ball past the midfield line, because it felt like most of the game was being played in that Air Force side of the field. So if they clean that up, I feel like they could have a much better chance going forward the rest of the series.
Yeah, it felt like Air Force made a lot more saves. They only got credit for 1, and the fact that there were 4 goals, 1 save, that's 5. That's 6 shots unaccounted for. I'm not sure if it was just barely off target from Washington State or what exactly transpired there, because it felt like they were peppering the net over and over, but the chances did just go wide, I suppose. And either way, Washington State going to be looking to carry that momentum here. Air Force, they dropped game 1 last night. They responded well in game 2. Let's see what they can bring here on the Forbidden Temple.
That's right. The Falcons know they are never out of it. Game 5 Merchants, I mean, most of their games this season so far have gone to 5. 5 against SDSU, 5 against UTSA and Pitt in non-conference play. That's almost an open net, but Venom able to get the touch necessary to keep that one out, getting some help from the post as well. A little bit of a rule 1 on the goal line there, but a demo will open up the lane for Evan to shoot, and that Falcons are right back in it.
This is a rated G stream there, everybody. Venom was, I don't even want to go into what he was doing. Evan's going to find the ball. It does pop out into the central part of the field, just to the right of the red box, and he's going to pound that one home. 1-0 for the Air Force. Here they come again, 1-on-1. Venom has the boost advantage. He's able to get the deflection. Got himself bumped by the teammate as well. Then Chowder does the bumping on Wimpulse. Air Force, they've got a little bit of speed and a little bit of confidence in their step, it looks like. They are the ones that are driving forward here. Washington State's got to get back to the house. Orion's got 2. Bang, bang. Air Force up by a deuce.
Like you mentioned, Fox, I mean, Air Force, they are just looking so much faster, so much more confident in their play, and it's showing out so far here. 2 goals in less than a minute, and what WSU was doing in game 1, clearly not working out here in game 2.
Here comes Chowder again. Not a lot of boost to work with. He leaves it for Evan. The handoff. Wimpulse able to just barely reach up and get it. Air Force, they are not afraid to attack, even if their boost tanks are low. They're able to get these little touches that are throwing off Washington State. They're throwing them for a loop. Fitz gets thrown for a loop there on that bounce. Orion puts Air Force up by 3. We're barely a minute in.
Couple misreads on the defensive end for the side of WSU has come out to be the detriment for him. That misread off the corner from Fitz allows the space for another goal to come out through from Orion. That's 2 for him in game number 2. And now it's 3 goals, barely a minute 15 into this game here. And it looks like a completely different series.
Absolutely, Evan. No more boost to work with. He'll have to leave that one. Fitz will get the clear. Orion got a demo, so 1 less player for Washington State to push forward with. He'll be back on the respawn. There he is. Wimpulse dumping it in off the corner wall. Evan, he's got Venom there. Nice patience by Evan, not wanting to risk that challenge. It could have gone into a very dangerous spot had he lost it. This one, nice touch over Fitz. You know, these little touches, Air Force, they are just continuing to be masters at putting the ball in places that Washington State can't get, but Wimpulse is once again advantageous. He pounces on that turnover there.
I mean, look at the play from Venom there, landing directly on Orion, stopping him from being able to make any sort of play. Opens up the space in the net for a shot to come out, and WSU, they send it home. Wimpulse able to put it on target at least and get the shot through, but Evan almost getting it right back. Save off of the crossbar. Venom in the net has to make another goal line save. Ball pops out. Dangerous here for the Air Force Falcons now, but nobody from WSU committing on that ball as Chowder is now able to bring it back to the midfield line. A couple members of WSU to beat, and he does a good job of doing just that. Centered for Orion, but Wimpulse on the backboard, able to keep it out. Now Evan, once again, through the corner. 50 goes wayward into the midfield line. Venom trying to collect now. Not able to meet up with Wimpulse in the midfield to continue the attack. Now Evan is able to take control of possession and get the Falcons back on the offense.
This ball going to be knocked forward. Orion does win the challenge on Wimpulse. Wimpulse has had his hands on a lot of the offense for Washington State side of things, and he's got them within 2 goals here with his strike. And now they will be looking for that counterattack, but Evan is waiting on the sidewall. Gets that ball. Chowder gets that one 50'd off of him, but Orion picks it up. Orion to the roof, but Wimpulse, again, good play from him. And some awkward play here. The ball is bouncing just about every which way, hitting players, bumping players. Feels a little bit sloppy out there as the stream of goals. It went from 4 in about 90 seconds to now none in the last 2 minutes.
Goals have started to slow down quite a bit, but the offense from Air Force looking to continue to streak on back, but is able to be saved away. WSU, their defense has started to hold up better as this game has progressed, but unfortunately, they already let 3 in earlier on. Now their offense has to try and make up for it. Not able to do anything on that offensive half yet. Venom, a good challenge. Chowder is able to send it away. Wimpulse back in on the play. 50s at center. Fitz opting not to dive into that play as Venom now trying to take it through the corner once again. Ball has been there for quite a bit now as the time is starting to tick down to a minute left in this game.
Wimpulse trying to poke it in. 60 seconds remaining here for Washington State. They're going to need 2, but it all starts with 1. They do have a trip into the Air Force zone, but Chowder given an open lane to clear the ball. Fitz, good stand-up play at the midfield line. He's going to force it in deep. Fitz with a double. He's got Venom there, but being watched closely there by Chowder. He came out of nowhere, made that save from underneath. Another passing play. Venom again denied as 2 good efforts there on goal. Both times the Air Force said no.
And now they look to go back on offense, but low boost reserves forces them back into their own half. Now Orion just trying to collect on that back line. Chowder and Evan meet up, get a little pinch out, pops out to the midfield where Fitz is lying in wait to collect on the ball. Pops it up, but gets demoed for his efforts. Now Evan looking to make the Falcons get another goal here. Not able to collect on the offensive opportunity. Now Fitz trying to clear it out, get one back for WSU. At least the shot going to be on. That ball still on the goal line, but Evan just in time to put that ball out. It looks like we will end with a 3-1 scoreline here. And yes, we do in game number 2.
Feels like that's kind of how the game went for Washington State. So close, yet so far. That last chance does go by the wayside. It would have taken a very good kickoff effort with under 4 seconds to go in order to tie that game up. Had that one fallen, but it didn't. Air Force stood tall. They started that game off really hot. Now, Washington State did really well to adjust. They kind of owned a lot of the offensive chances in the second half, but first half, Air Force, I mean, they dominated that game, and they get the win because of it.
Definitely. Their shooting accuracy as well was really good this game compared to last. I mean, they had 11 shots, 7 of them being saved away. So the fact that they also got 3 goals mean there's only one that was possibly off target that didn't require a save from WSU. So a great showing here from Air Force on the offensive half. And Washington State, their defense was struggling earlier on in that first minute or so in the game, but they were really able to bring it back and keep it to as close of a game as it was.
Now you get to settle in for game 3, and we do have a Utopia Coliseum. It'll be queued up after this one. So we are tied. A series winner will not be decided here, so we do get extra Rocket League. Sleeper, we got treated to some game 5 cinema last night is what I called it. I wonder if we'll see that here. We've got a long way to go before that, but I mean, the way these two teams are playing, it's certainly not out of the cards.
I mean, definitely if history repeats itself, we will. The last 2 times these teams faced off was in regular conference play last season. That went to game 5. And then in the conference playoffs, that also went to game 7 in the semifinals. Venom scoring first here for WSU.
Yep, Fitz with a good wind forward, and Venom finally receives himself a pass where an Air Force player is not right there to stuff him. He got stuffed on a few of his shooting opportunities last game. This time he's able to spot the opening, hits a good feed, and slots it home. Washington State have the early lead. Venom and Windpulse now trying to outnumber. It's just off the wall. Windpulse thought maybe it was hugging the wall, and that will give the Air Force a little bit of time to breathe. Not much. Here's Venom off the sidewall. He nearly able to poke home his own touch. Windpulse will get it, and that's going to be 2-0 early for the Cougs.
Windpulse, he delayed the touch just enough to get it around a diving Orion. What a great shot there from Windpulse. I mean, the timing had to be perfect, and he got it correctly. He put the calculations into his calculator and got the correct answer just in time. Now Windpulse trying to get a second here. Going to be put away by Chowder, but this series has been very give and take. First game was all WSU. Last game was mostly Air Force with a little bit of WSU at the very end. Then this game, WSU has been right back on top. Air Force haven't had a response yet. And a minute into the game, they are still stuck on their own defensive half.
Feels almost like a curse for the Air Force. An odd-numbered game in a series. They've not done well on any of them as of yet. They won games 2 and 4 last night. They won game 2, looked really good. And here in game 3, now that is, of course, nothing to be superstitious about, but you never know. It's fun to see how scripts and how series evolve. But here, 90 seconds in, WSU find themselves up by 2, and they've also got 2 players up. That's a double commit, wide open goal. Evans sends it through the goal mouth. That's a chance that the Air Force would have wanted back. They were gifted an open opportunity to put themselves within 1, and it goes wide.
It looks like he had either a shot on target or a pass out to Chowder, but the ball trajectory split the difference and went right in between both, and ending up going wide of the pass and of the net. Now defensive structure needs to stand tall here. It does. Orion, no boost in the tank, but still able to play control and for just time here. Able to get a good 50 as well before Chowder is able to dive in with his full boost tank. The shot going to be wide of the net. Fitz is able to clear it out to the other side of the pitch. Now Evan collecting the boost and the ball, but gets 50'd. It was a good 50 from WSU as well to put this back in control of the WSU esports.
Nice touch here by Orion. He goes corner. That ball bounces out to a favorable spot if you're a Cougar. Windpulse continues the positive momentum, but it gets deflected away. Here's Chowder off the backboard, double tap. Hits the crossbar both times. It stays out. That would have been a heck of a goal to pull themselves within 1. Air Force, again, they are left wanting, and they're so close, but yet so far. And they're still find themselves down by 2, but with a good amount of time still on the clock.
Chowder up once again, looking for the double. The second time will go through. No defense from WSU can put that one away as Chowder takes the lead and cuts it in half.
Sheesh, that was clean. Chowder upset he didn't score that first double tap. How about another one? And that one was picture perfect. Orion dishing up a hot bowl of chowder, and he takes that one to the house and in. So 2-1. Chowder now throwing his weight around as well, getting a demo. Here he is again. Chowder starting to ride momentum. He and Evan try to attack, but Venom is there, calm, cool, and collected, much like the shades that are on top of his Fennec. Now Wimpulse, last man back. He's got to be careful. There's 2 Air Force players waiting on him to get down, and they will take the ball. Chowder takes out a man, but they throw it right back to Venom. Evan with a nice touch. Throwing off the attack for just a moment. Wimpulse, he's been in the right spot in the right time. Every time there's a free ball in the Air Force zone, Wimpulse is there trying to take a shot.
Yeah, Venom took his time cleanly there, able to get the clear back center for Wimpulse. That one able to be put away by Chowder, but Fitz trying to continue this offensive attack now for WSU. Not able to get it center for a teammate. Now Venom crosses it over to Wimpulse. Not a good touch there, but Fitz able to cover for it before Evan can take control. Almost looking for a double here. Leaves it for Venom just under the crossbar. And WSU has a 2-goal lead once again.
When you send all 3 of your players into the opposing team's box, you have to walk away either with a goal or you're getting scored on. That time. The players went forward. One had committed for the first chance, ends up being a pass. Second man gets the bump. Third man, which is Venom, he's able to finish the goal. So good ability to find themselves an outnumbered chance. Evan putting a shot on, and Wimpulse was there, keeping this game close again. Air Force, I mean, they're right there on the cusp. They've had their chances. This game could easily be 3-3 right now had they fallen for the Air Force.
It seems like that has been the story of their entire seasons here in CCS, just on the cusp, but ends up losing out at the last possible moment. As Wimpulse, once again, for WSU, trying to get another goal here to bolster up that stat line. But a 2-goal lead with 30 seconds on the clock is a very good cushion. Venom looking for a 4th as well. Chowder able to save it away, trying to get the momentum back on the side of the Falcons. Orion to clear it up. Takes control of the ball. A little bit of an accidental flip there as well. He is Evan to try and collect on the ball. Not a lot of boost in the tank, so he's going to just have to play it slowly. The time ticks down. Game number 3 seems to be all but over to put WSU up onto series point.
The ball will fall. Wimpulse puts it forward. The game is decided already. I'll have to see if the scoreboard changes. It all fits. Almost had something to say about that. Bar down and to the ground it goes. With that, it'll be a secured victory for Washington State. The Cougars, again, this time they put up double-digit shots yet again compared to only 4. Where have I seen this storyline before, Sleeper, where Washington State, they put up double-digit worth of shots compared to only 4 for the Air Force?
It goes back to what you said earlier, Fox. I mean, they seem to have an odd-numbered curse here. Anytime it falls on an odd-numbered game in the series, they just can't get the offense going like it's supposed to. And Washington State, they gladly took advantage of that. I mean, 10 shots, 3 goals. So defense from Air Force was able to hang on for quite a bit. But towards the end of that match there, it went more and more in favor of Washington State. So game number 4, looking for a bounce back from Air Force here to keep this series alive and at least force game 5. We'll have to see just what they are able to do heading into the next game.
Absolutely. Here we go. Headed into game number 4. See if the Air Force are able to force themselves into game 5 or not. They do have a stiff competition here in the Cougars. Washington State have made things difficult when they get on offense, and they're able to stay on offense for most of the game. Air Force, their chances are limited. They really don't have much room for error. Like we saw last game, they missed a couple opportunities. They lose that game. So you have to make the most of your chances if Washington State are going to continue to hem you in. That bump from Wimpulse is going to do some good work for that, but Chowder, very good clear there. He's going to give his team time to get back.
I'm looking for a pop-off from Chowder here in game number 4. He was the man that got that insane double touch from his own side of the field. But Wimpulse, sure, just stop my analysis of this series here. Just score for WSU again. Why not?
That ball went sky high. Wimpulse was the first one to react. It's hard to react as a defender when the ball's up there, but I mean, the same viewpoint. Wimpulse had that viewpoint, but instead of trying to find an open place to clear it, you're trying to hit it behind you straight into that goal you just exited, and Wimpulse did just that. So an early 1-0 lead. Wimpulse has been so good at finding the loose change, finding the scraps. He's been the one putting in the dirty goals for his team. And, you know, those go a long way in a series. You're able to find those chances and put them home. And even so, you know, finding any sort of ball to keep the other opponent in their side of the field, that does wonders to you defensively as well.
For sure. Demo from Venom. Defensive demo there. Opens up the space for them to now clear out the ball. Evan is back, trying to clear it back up. Fitz cuts it off in the midfield. Now Wimpulse 50-50 lands into the hands of Orion. Going to go high off the backboard. Venom gets a good touch, but I bet he'll follow up with any boost. Now it's a clear up to Wimpulse, looking for the redirect off of the post, and it's going to go bouncing in. A second goal for Wimpulse and WSU here in game number 4.
Wimpulse heard me saying, he was like, yeah, I've scored some, you know, pretty basic goals. Watch this, Fox. And he just made me eat my words. He makes the goal eat the ball as well with that great redirect, that deflection in off the post. Now here's Chowder. He's looking to have his name heard in this game, but it'll be deflected wide. Air Force trying to maintain possession, trying to keep the Washington State team out of their zone, because every time that the Cougars seem to drift into the blue half, at least here in Utopia, it's almost in the back of the net every time.
Yeah, so Air Force, they need to try and clear the ball out of their own half, get the offensive going once again. That it's been struggling a little bit since game number 2. Orion, a nice shot there. And again, my analysis, just forget about it entirely, because Orion will score right away for the Falcons.
Oh, great 50 by Evan. He teased that ball up, and all it is just Top Golf Simulator for Orion. Take a shot, drive it right into the net. Puts it home. Evan with a good beat on it. Wimpulse there. He was well underneath Wimpulse in terms of boost. He had a lot less than Wimpulse did, but he put his car in a place to succeed and did so. So now the Air Force, they've cut the lead in half. They're going to be looking for more. Chowder will deflect it in deep. Venom chasing it. He'll clear, but only as far as Orion, and goodbye, Orion. We'll have to wait for him to respawn as he gets knocked clean off the field. Evan, another good win. Chowder returns the favor on Wimpulse and on Fitz. This time by Evan. So a couple demos here, throwing Washington State back. Some open field here for the Air Force, trying to take advantage, but Fitz able to drive the ball away, and Washington State will escape.
Ball awkward on the defensive end for the Falcons. That one's going to sail over the net, thankfully, for the defense there. Ryan trying to get a clear out, but it only goes as far as Fitz. Pops it up high. Demo's coming out from Venom as well. Some more bumps. The flip reset from Fitz. That one just manages to sneak its way through the defense here. Venom, he was hunting bumps. Flitz just right around Evan and Chowder, not expecting it. I mean, possibly expecting Evan to be able to make a touch on that ball. Doesn't come through. And now it's a 3-1 lead for WSU.
Things not looking too good if you are an Air Force player or fan. 2 minutes left on the clock. You need a couple goals. Washington State have been stingy on the Air Force in recent games. Games 3 and now game 4. Unable to pierce the back of the net more than once in either one. They did so in game 2. But they're going to need something here in game 3. Can they ignite, or game 4 rather, can they ignite what they had early in game 2? They scored 3 goals in under a minute, so it's possible. Air Force have it in them, but they got to pick up the speed and pick up the pace here and start throwing a wrench in these clean rotations the Cougars are throwing at them.
Fitz, a great shot there, able to be saved away by Air Force, but they are not able to get the transition back into the offensive half. Now Chowder, he's just trying to collect it on the defensive end, able to get it around a couple, just has one more to beat, able to beat him, but Wimpulse already back on the defense. Nobody else in support for the Falcons quite yet. Now Evan going to take a shot on target. Fitz is there, cut off by Orion, put right in. He has a second, and it's a crucial one here for the Falcons.
Stick-to-itiveness was the theme of that goal. Fitz, he did not want to carry the ball quite that far. He did well to get it away from the box, but ends up sticking to his car during his flip. And in doing so, it throws the ball out to a spot that Orion can take a shot. Nobody's able to get back for it. Washington State, what looked like a solid defensive effort there, turns into a goal against, and now they're going to try and find that 2-goal lead again. Shot glances high off the Air Force's goal, and it will stay out. Here's Venom now. Not very much boost. He gets a nice touch up and over one. Chowder throws the ball away in front, and there he is again, right where he's been all game long. He is feasting on anything that's thrown out in the midfield.
Look at the bumps once again. Fitz causing chaos on the back line of the Falcons, just completely bullying the keeper out of the way. And it's opened up to a 2-goal lead again for WSU. Almost going to be a third one here. Fitz playing it slowly. 50 is able to be beneficiary for the Falcons. Now Chowder can't get it past the midfield line. Evan will pop it up. Have to get a goal here. Can't do anything with that flip reset, though. Orion was playing too close. Now Fitz down the other way. Chowder, a goal line save, but the attack continuing for the WSU Cougars. Evan able to get a follow-up save as well. Now trying to get the Falcons back on the offense. That pass not going to find anybody for the Air Force team, as Wimpulse down to 10 seconds now, just playing keep away.
Oh, what a deflection. That would have been disgusting had that gone in. It drifts just wide. Air Force, the clock strikes midnight on them, and Washington State will walk away with the victory. Washington State just outpowered the Air Force offensively, it felt like. They really hindered the amount of chances that the Air Force were able to take on their net, and Washington State, they were mechanical at times. They really put themselves in places to succeed a lot in that series, and they walk away with a deserved win because of it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Washington, when Air Force was trying to fight their way back in game number 2, they kind of took a mental reset and was like, all right, let's just play our game again like we were in game 1, and it worked throughout the rest of the series. They didn't allow Air Force any room to work with. They saw that Air Force was trying to play a little bit faster, but shut them right back down. So a great win there from Washington State. I believe they are now 1-0 going into conference play as Air Force drops into 0-2. Fox, you got any closing remarks?
Just a shout out to all the wonderful people here at CCS, and congrats to all the teams we got to see on stream. But that is going to do it for us here tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been Fox and Sleeper from CCS. We are signing off. Have yourselves a wonderful night.